I do like the under. I don't think they keep it within the number, though. I think you are going to see Notre Dame run all over Navy. I think it's going to get very ugly from the jump. I think the defense is going to lock them down. Yeah, give me the Snakes. I'll lay it today. I think Merrill Kelly pitches really well against them today, but I just think that bullpen is going to get destroyed.
Are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Javon just took the meat out and faded his own squad. He's fading the Reds today. This is like Christmas. This is unbelievable. Chat, meat on tape tonight for the Commanders ML. I can't stress this enough. I will have a rack on them in the preseason. That's the most I'm going to put on a team in the preseason because it's preseason. But it's my favorite bet so far of the NFL year. If you're not taking it, I can't help you. Football is here, ladies and gents, and you can make some serious coins responsibly on the Commanders ML. What's going on, chat? Football is here, folks. No more preseason. We're here. Javon, VTL episode 308 piece. Hold the fry, as always, joined by your guys, Krabs and Javon, on this beautiful Thursday afternoon where we get some NFL regular season football. Let's clap it up, folks. We made it. We're here.
Finally. We're here.
Thank you. I wish it was any other game to cap for the first one of the season, but it is what it is. We move.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a great game to watch. Great game to watch, but it's so difficult to bet on. But that's why we're here. We're here to talk it out.
That's why we're here. We got Kitch Picks dropping a follow. Let's go, Kitch. That's exactly what we needed going into the NFL season. We got a hype train brewing, folks. That man Cran coming in, sub-banging, talking about the over in the Chiefs game and Chiefs -5. Got to get back to the students, he says. I don't know what that means, that man Cran, and I hate those plays, but we move. Somebody's winning tonight. We got Oliver coming in with a sub bang as well, 19 months. That's what I'm talking about. Willie Beeman coming in with a sub bang. Let's go, folks. Vibes are up on this Thursday afternoon. Let's find some winners. And how about that Braves team total over? When everyone had the Braves minus 1.5, when everyone had the Braves minus 2.5, when everyone probably had them live on the ML. We took the team total with Smack. Javon, great call.
Yeah, the only non-piss Braves bet of the game. So shout out to them and shout out, I think Austin Riley cashed it on his little gag there, and they didn't score anymore. So
yeah,
absolutely huge.
We'll take it. We got as many runs as we needed, nothing more, and that's okay.
Yeah,
we move. We'll take that, chat. Let's do a W recap here before we get into football. Yeah, that's a full red sweep from me.
If we had to win one, I'm glad we won the one that we did.
100% because the Padres, Royals, and Rangers were moose wagers, boys.
We have a combination of the two, and I guess 2.5, 3 with the Royals.
Absolute moose. But you know what, chat? The squad ride banged. That puts us at a really comfortable spot. 123, 82, and 3 on the season headed into the NFL year. I'm happy where we're at. All right. We moved. The squad ride smack. That's all that matters. Okay. W's. If you guys aren't tailing the squad ride every single day responsibly, I don't know what to tell you. And yes, I do need to be better on those best bets because those were moose. But I hope you guys tailed the squad ride. That's the play to always take, especially when we only got baseball on. But today, we've got football as well, Javon. We're going to go over some AFC futures. And we're obviously going to talk a ton about Thursday Night Football, some plays, prize picks, the whole 9 yards. No pun intended. All right, we're going to get to that as well. Javon, why don't we go ahead and talk about the Braves ML being the worst loss, biggest favorite going down in the season when Trent's on?
Yeah, absolutely unreal. I mean, with the slips that he put out on the Braves game at this time yesterday, I am not surprised to say the least. You're kind of asking for it doing that, but that's absolutely unreal. That was an insane game.
Favorites of minus 350 or bigger were 5-0 this season before last night. Cannot make it up. Can't make it up.
Can't.
Ridiculous.
Good thing they're a bigger favorite tag.
Yep. Are you going to go back to them? You going back to the well?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going back to the well the same way I did yesterday.
Sure. Team total. Tails old as time.
Yeah.
I could be down. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Chat. We're going to do a pretty cool Book It Primetime Climb segment this NFL season. Don't think we have the graphic yet, but that's okay. We have this Night Sweats Primetime graphic. We get the whole squad sweating tonight. Thursday Night Football game, Lions and Chiefs. Super excited. So make sure you guys hop in and sweat this one out with us tonight. Put it on the iPad. Keep the TV in the background, and let's all vibe and hit some bets together tonight. We're going to be doing a pretty cool Book It challenge throughout the entire NFL season where we all give a straight bet on the books and a prize pick square for every primetime game, and we're going to track them and post them for the entire NFL season with the entire Book It squad, me, Javon, Chelly, Trent, Lauren, and Mikey, everybody giving out NFL plays for the whole season, and we'll track them, and we'll see who climbs up the primetime ladder and who's really the NFL GOAT here at Book It. I'm excited for this. I'm excited.
Yeah, this will be sick.
W's. No way we get Trent to night sweat. Yes way we get Trent to night sweat tonight.
You're definitely getting Trent to night sweat tonight.
Yes way. Yes way. And I know that's not the OG catch. I know. We got a couple catches in here. That's all right. We like all the catches. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move. Let's groove. Okay. Not dropping out of this one, right? They're dropping out of this one, though, right? Dude, I dropped out of the freaking just baseball stream after I lost 40 units on baseball, which I suck at that. You guys know that. I don't give a hoot. Okay. We got a hype train coming in hot, level 1. Let's freaking go, folks. Javon, I'm stoked for this game tonight, man. We're going to talk plenty about it in this episode.
100%.
W's. Let's talk about the Rangers real quick. Did they suck? Or are they losing on purpose, Javon? What the heck is going on with Mad Max and the Rangers, man? They are atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, they're horrendous, and it's kind of at every level. Like, their pitching staff has been terrible, especially when they get in the bullpen. It's been, like, embarrassingly bad. So, I mean, now they sit, I believe, half a game out of the wild card spot. But, I mean, for them, if they can get into the wild card spot, they kind of did exactly what they needed to do down the stretch, not just because they got in the playoffs, but everybody wants the last AL wildcard spot because I don't know why the MLB structures the playoffs like this, but that's the best place to be at the moment. So you can play the Twins. So the Jays and the Rangers are kind of in a battle there. And then, the Astros are hanging around too. The Mariners a little ahead of both those teams. But, yeah, I mean, I was kind of wishing a little while back when the Rays were playing poorly that they would kind of stick around and be just mid so they would land in the last playoff spot there. But it's looking like a Rangers or Blue Jays thing. So even though they're playing horrendously, if they get in, they have a fantastic shot to go even further, which is a crazy thought.
People are talking as well. They're saying the Yankees are starting to ask Hughes. Are you getting on board with that? I hope not.
They are starting to ask questions. I'm kind of getting on board. I think they'll make it a race at the end of the season. I think you're going to see them a game or two back at some point in the next handful of weeks here. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, everybody above them, especially like the Blue Jays and Rangers, are playing horrendously right now. The Red Sox are kind of middling. The Yankees have a pretty easy schedule, and they're playing well right now since they called up, Jason Dominguez and a couple other guys to fill in. So they're going to hang around. They're going to make it a race, and it's going to be interesting.
Okay. Could get weird down the stretch in the AL wildcard chat. Crabs with the Nats make the playoffs. I'll sub you 50. Davey Martinez burner, you know as well as me that we're not making the fucking playoffs, Bob. But it's good to see us end that 6-game losing streak last night. Okay. Crabs, you got to appreciate the young guys on the Yanks. The Yankees have not lost a game since they called up Jason Dominguez. He looks pretty darn good. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's about as nice as I can say about the Yankees, and that one hurt. All right, let's move. Let's talk some football, Javon. That's enough MLB talk for one day. We'll go over the plays here in a moment, but let's talk some AFC betting previews, Javon. We did the NFC yesterday. I want to power through the AFC futures for the people here, and then we'll get to the MLB slate, only about 5 or 6 games, and then Thursday Night Football for at least the last 30. We're going to focus on today, spending plenty of time crafting up prize picks, crafting up book plays. I got a bunch of props, a bunch of squares I came with, so we'll get to those. Plenty of time, plenty of plays in this NFL season opener tonight, chats. No rush. We got plenty of time today. We move. Let's do some AFC betting preview talk here, Javon. You want to get us started off here with your favorite win total over in the AFC this NFL season?
Yeah, I'm rolling with Mike Vrabel and the Titans. I think they're going to be amazing this year, and they're definitely going to contend for winner of that division, which I'm also taking. And I almost like that a little more than the win total just because you're getting a little bit of value there. And, of course, you're fading the very popular, probably the most popular division winner bet, which usually goes really well in every sport. So, like Vrabel, I think he's going to masterclass this year. You talk about a division where there's a lot of question marks, even with the Jaguars. This is year 2 of their new little regime that was really good for the second half of last season. I think the one constant that you see in that division is Mike Vrabel and everything he's built there. Then you added DeAndre Hopkins, who is going to be, I think, I don't want to say it's being a downplayed addition necessarily, but I think a lot of people are hesitant to back him because he's been old, looks kind of washed, he can't stay on the field. I think regardless of that, you're going to see a little boost to this Titans offense, and it's going to be great. So I think defensively, of course, I think they're miles ahead of anybody in that division, and I think they're going to win 8, 9, whatever it takes to win the division, because that's what they're going to do.
Okay. I love it. I could definitely get on board. Do not sleep on Mike Vrabel. Okay, and you're fading the most popular division winner this season with the Jags. So I love that play, Javon. Love that for you. Okay. Chad, you guys know I love the Bills this season. Got them winning the Super Bowl. They're my squad. I'm back in a healthy Josh Allen. I'm back in that defense that is a top 5 defense in the NFL with or without Tremaine Edmonds. And they're going to show that once again this season. So underrated. And that division I really am not scared of this season. I'll be honest with you. The Patriots scare me the most, which is crazy to say with looking at that wide receiver core and that depth chart. I mean, they are absolutely atrocious. But the Patriots do scare me. Bill Belichick always scares me a little bit. Rumor has it he might be a single man now, going through a little breakup with his longtime girlfriend. That's not the kind of guy I want to be fading. And I'll tell you right now, my favorite play of the NFL weekend is going to be the Patriots against the Eagles. Not really surprising that. They're going to cover the 4 points. We're going to go about our day. But we'll leave it at that there. The Bills are going to win at least 11 games this season, maybe even 12. Maybe even 12. Okay, I'm not too worried about their strength of schedule. And I am happy that we now get a healthy Josh Allen with no bum elbow. And I'm not really worried about the Dolphins. If Tua makes it through the entire season without getting hurt, the Dolphins can make some noise. But I don't believe that's going to happen. And I'm not hoping for him to get hurt, but the guy is just literally the guy in my leg from SpongeBob where he gets hurt every second when he walks outside his door. It is what it is. It is what it is, and Tua's not going to make it through the whole season, and if he doesn't, that team is toast. And I'm fading the Jets this season hard. That O-line is terrible. You're going to see it literally week 1, Monday Night Football, Bills-Jets, when that Bills D-line is absolutely grubbing, and Aaron Rodgers has no freaking time to do anything. He can't scramble like he used to. He's an old man. He's 40, okay? The Bills are going to dominate that division, and the Bills are going to impress people. When everyone was on them last season to win the Super Bowl, with the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl in the last 30 years, everyone's hopping off. Everyone's hopping back on the Eagles or the Chiefs, the 2 teams who went to the Super Bowl last season. I'm sticking with the Bills this year. They break the Madden curse, and they win at least 11 games this year.
There we go. I mean, I'm on board, at least through the regular season with you, back in the Bills.
100%. 100%. I mean, I'll go ahead and kick off the favorite win total under here, Javon, since it kind of correlates. I'm going with the Jets to win less than 9.5 games this season. I talked about it already. Their O-line. Okay? NFL, the trenches and coaches are so important, not only with just the teams, but when betting. I don't think there's any other, sport where coaching matters this much. Personally, I've made a lot of money in my, past betting NFL and trying to back good coaches and stuff like that. I'm not a big solid guy. And I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers guy this season at the end of his career. We saw him take a step back last year. Now he's got to play, behind this atrocious O-line that has been getting carved up the entire preseason. And I know that doesn't mean everything, but if you've heard Aaron Rodgers talk about, the state of that offensive line, he doesn't sound too happy about it. He sounds concerned, and he said he's going to have to start working with these guys on his own, which is not something you want him to be spending his time on. That's an issue. If that line is that bad and he's got to work with them himself, probably tells me he's a little bit worried about how they're going to hold up. So I think they get tested early this week, and you're going to see why I'm fading the Jets. Their O-line cannot hold up. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to have time to pull off these miracles because he can't run around and score like he used to. Okay, he's still a beast. He's still a Hall of Famer. I still respect the heck out of him. But this season, the Jets, their hype is blown completely out of proportion. Fading the Hard Knocks narrative, and I'm fading Rodgers. Give me the Jets under 9.5 wins this year.
Yeah, there we go. And you're going to see that O-line get destroyed, not just Monday night, but, their first handful of games. Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles, Giants. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. Good luck to a project O-line. But yeah, I'm with you there. I think they're going to start to get better towards the end of the season, and everybody's going to get super excited. Maybe they have a Jags-like run where they win a bunch of games at the end with a much softer schedule. But early on in the season, it ain't time for the Jets. And all season, I don't think it's going to be time for the Raiders. This is one of the more popular, fades as far as win total goes that I'm willing to square up with. Another team out west that their defense, the young pieces that they do have, which are very few and far in between, are very unproven and inexperienced, and I don't like. And then the older veteran guys, a majority of them are guys that haven't produced in decades. So, this defense is going to be as horrendous as we've seen for the last couple of years. On offense, you have Jimmy G, you have Josh Jacobs, who has been in the facility for just over a week and a half, 2 weeks at this point. And then you have a wide receiving core with Devontae Adams, and then Hunter Renfrow, who probably should play a little more than he does. And just overall, there's a lot of questions going on with that team, especially offensively, what the scheme is going to look like. And I don't think you're going to solve that. And I don't think the offense is going to hold up enough to where you need to support the defense that's going to give up 30 points a game. So I think they're going to be bad, really bad, especially when they face a lot of the better offenses, especially early in the season. And yeah, that'll be 2 huge games. I think they split. But yeah, in division, I don't think you're going to find much success for this team. Really
okay, the Raiders are going to suck. I agree. All right, yeah. Javon, take us to the AFC East. What is your favorite season-long prize pick square in this division?
Yeah, I'm taking Rodgers under passing touchdowns. I think regardless of what you think about the Jets this season, I don't think it's going to be a massive aerial attack. We've seen this number tick down all throughout the offseason by a couple touchdowns, and I think that's for good reason, especially when you talk about early in the season where he's not going to have much time to operate in the pocket. And we saw that a little bit with the Packers towards the end of maybe not last season, but the season before that, where we saw a bad O-line who was very injured at the time really getting to him and affecting the flow of the offense. I think you're going to see that early. And again, they're going to pick it up towards the end of the season, I think, but early on, he's going to struggle to operate pretty freely there. So I'm fading him.
Sounds good. I'm in. Aaron Rodgers. maybe not fading his pass yards would be the best move if we're down on the season and think he's going to be, passing in garbage time to try to come back. This is the best way to fade Aaron Rodgers this season. I'm with you. I'm in. Okay. Chad, I'm going with Gabe Davis to record more than 775.5 receiving yards this season. If Stephon Diggs comes back in week 1 and is ready to roll, he's obviously going to take over, and be double covered, or at least, get the best cornerback out there on the field. And Gabe Davis, who had a great season last year and actually hit this number last year, is only going to have more opportunities with a healthy Josh Allen in a great offense who has some really good matchups against some past defenses who I'm not really impressed by. It's going to be the Gabe Davis show this year. He's finally going to break out. And he's not going to be, a 5 to 6 receptions a game kind of guy. If you haven't watched this kid play that much, he's a down the field type of threat. I wouldn't say he's fully Deshaun Jackson mode, but he's pretty close, right? So there's going to be a couple games where he has 150 yards, right? And, has a couple bombs. There'll be some games where he has zip. And it is what it is. That's what we signed up for. But don't get stressed out if Gabe drops a goose egg early on in the season. He's a boom or bust type of guy. And I think he'll have more games where he has explosive plays and is helping that Bills offense go to the Super Bowl. Then he'll be dropping goose eggs. So give me Gabe Davis. I think he records 1,000 yards this season. I think this number is ridiculous and disrespectful.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that. I think he's going to have a massive season, so I'm right there with you. Definitely sneaking that in an entry. For my AFC West, I went with Josh Jacobs under yards, not because I guess everybody's seen the same TikTok or video or whatever about the running backs that lead the league in touches or whatever, always going under the next season. So that's been very popular for the last week, and that's why people are taking it. I'm not taking it because of that. I think you're going to see, again, the Raiders are going to be bad. They're going to be in a lot of pass-happy situations, but also a lot of defenses are going to load the box to force the ball out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hands to the playmakers, like on the outside and the wide receiving core. So you have that combined with the fact that, like I said, Josh Jacobs has been in the facilities for all that long. So I think he's going to be a little bit eased into the offense come the first couple weeks. So, I mean, that's on your side too. But regardless, I don't think there's going to be a heavy rushing attack for the Raiders just in general this season, especially when they're trailing in a lot of these games.
Okay. I'm so with you. Let's fade that guy to get less than 1,000 yards this year, or even if he gets a rack. You got a couple yards to play with there. I'm with it. Fade the freaking Raiders, a team who's not even going to be able to run the ball anyways. They're going to stink. They're going to be down in every game in the first quarter easily. They're terrible. They're not well coached. They're not well built. They're not well run. They have a quarterback who has glass bones. It's going to be a tough season for the Raiders, and I don't know how Josh Jacobs is going to put up another 1,000-yard season. I'm with you. We got your boy John coming in hot. NFL is back, boys. Let's go. Let's freaking go, John. Let's go, my man. We got Ron Muxclam coming in, giving out a sub. That's what I'm talking about, Ron. A tale as old as time. Death taxes and Ron Muxclam giving out a sub bang every day. And we got Blaine coming in hot with a resub as well. That's what I'm talking about, chat. That's what I'm talking about. Let's keep moving and grooving here. I'm going with Eckler, less than 1.5, 100-plus rushing yard games. I just want to fade Eckler this season, and this is my favorite way to do it. He got 2 last year. He's been weirdly healthy and effective for the last couple seasons. I don't know if that's going to last, and I'm down on the Chargers this season too, and I think they'll be more of an air raid offense this year with Kellen Moore coming in, and they won't be using Austin Eckler as much on the ground. Maybe he gets 100-yard game, but I'm willing to fade him, and I think that's a sketchy square that's up, and nobody wants to take that less than. I'll do it for him. Austin Eckler is not getting 2 100-plus yard rush games. If anything, it'll be more of a weapon in the pass game this season with Kellen Moore coming in.
I like that.
Let's go.
Yeah, AFC North, I feel like I don't need to say all that much about Deshaun Watson because I've sold it 500,000 times at this point, but massive bounce back year coming. He's going to surprise a lot of people, just like the Browns are going to surprise a lot of people. And he's going to look, honestly, I'm not talking numbers wise. I think he put up 4,800 in that one incredible season with the Texans in his last year. I think he's going to look better than he did with Houston in that last season. Now, the numbers may not show that, but it's going to be a better offense. They're going to flow better schemes that fit Deshaun Watson, and he won't have to carry the load as much. Huge on him this year.
Okay, Deshaun Watson revenge tour starts this season. He's going to be back. People forget he led the NFL in passing yards a couple years ago.
People are quick to forget.
They forget it.
See that. It's gone. They won't forget it after they see a couple weeks of Deshaun Watson to open the season. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I heard him talking in an interview last night on Scott Van Pelt saying he feels the best he ever has in his career. He's ready. And the Browns are going to be a problem this season. All right, we're going to talk about that too. But let's keep moving and grooving here, Javon. I'm sticking with the Browns, and we get Cleveland Ethan coming in hot with a follow. Perfect timing. Cleveland Ethan. We're very high on the Browns this season. Javon just pitched to Watson more than 3,650 pass yards. I'm going with Nick Chubb to finish the job. Okay, Watson will get those drives going and get him to the goal line, and they're going to feed Chubb, who for the first time in his career on the Browns, it's his backfield. There's no Kareem Hunt. There's no second or third RBs. It's the Nick Chubb show. We saw this square get bumped up from 8.5 to 9. I personally think he gets 10 with ease this season. I'm buying in on the Browns. I like their offense. And I don't think it's really going against the Watson square. If anything, I think it complements it because Watson will get him to the goal line and Chubb will finish the job. So we know he's a beast, right? I think this will be the first season where they really let Nick Chubb run wild. And I think he's going to dominate. Thought about taking his yards, but I'm going with his rushing touchdowns because I think Deshaun will be the biggest threat moving down the field. And once they get into the red zone and the goal line, it's going to be the Chubb show. I bet dead, Larry Bird.
It's crazy.
I freaking bet, dude.
Are we acting like the Browns don't have a good defense, man? It's kind of crazy to say.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good.
It's pretty
good. Every defense in that division is good. That division is stacked. And we're going to talk about that as well, Javon. I got a cheeky value long shot future for that division that I'm stoked about.
Yeah. Well, we can move on to the AFC South. I like Anthony Richardson over rushing yards, which I've been kind of looking for a way to back him. Then Greg, the Gen family, came on yesterday in our space and kind of convinced me on this one. And I think like fantasy wise, you're going to see Anthony Richardson. He's going to be like the boomer bust guy that, yes, like his growing pains and his lows are going to be very low, but his highs are going to be very high. And especially with that Colts offense that is going to be kind of the same, very boomer bust, a lot more bust than boom. There's going to be a lot of growing opportunity, but he's going to be very quick to have a hop out of the pocket in this offense too. So you're going to see those games kind of like Justin Fields last year, where he has ridiculous plays on the ground, ridiculous games on the ground. So I don't think it's going to be a constant stream for Anthony Richardson necessarily, but he's going to have a lot of those games, especially the games against softer defenses where he absolutely just runs wild on all of them. So this is one that I think you're kind of zoning in on a couple games, but I really like the upside with him there.
Yep. I'm so with it. I love that. I also saw that Richardson was in the facility for 8 hours on their off day the other day. He's locked in. He's doing his job. All right. He's showing up. He's there. He's ready to roll and impress some people. So I'm definitely not fading Richardson this season. I'm excited to see what the talented kid has because he's got all the freaking talent in the world. Let's see if he can put it together and produce some results on the NFL field. I'm excited to watch him play. I really am. We will definitely have a meat sheet on Sunday. We'll probably have one on Saturday as well for college football. Come on, guys. You know we're coming in hot with the cheat sheets and the meat sheets. We got it. Okay. Guys, I already sold this ETN square a bunch. It's, in my go well and stuff like that, in my Meg. ETN less than 925.5 rush yards. Not only have they drafted another running back this season with Tank Bigsby, right? It's going to be, ETN's going to be playing himself off the field with how bad of a pass blocker he is, especially if we think the Jags are not going to be as sharp or as good or win that division like everyone else in the public thinks. So I'm fading ETN. This got bumped down a ton from over like 1,100 yards down to 925.5. And that's because I think he's going to play himself off the field. And our guy, Fat Girl Zinc, in the spaces yesterday had a great point right here. Great point. He was talking about the new coaching regime. If they're really convinced with ETN, why would they go and draft another running back in the draft this year? So I think that's a great point. They're probably not sold on ETN, who's been kind of inconsistent throughout his first season. And I want to fade his ass. And he's one of the most bumped guys on the board. So we're fading him, taking his less than 925.5 rush yards.
Yeah, 200 yards is one of the biggest ones I've seen.
My goodness. That's wild. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Javon, give me a breakdown of the AFC Championship. Who do you got playing in that?
I like Bengals Bills. I think this is the year, hopefully, that the Bengals, I think they're going to dominate the season as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy. Looks like he's getting back on the field, going to play, looks normal week one. So if everything stays the same, I think this is the year the Bengals dominate. Jamar Chase leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, everything. And hopefully we see the Bengals get a home playoff game against the Chiefs. I think they're going to beat them. And then the Bills, I think they're going to be great as long as they get a draw. But I don't think they're making it to the Super Bowl. I think this is the Bengals' year to make it out of the AFC, which kind of pains me to say. But that's where I'm sitting.
Wow. It's going to be the Bengals going to the Super Bowl from the AFC, huh?
Yep.
I bet.
Yeah, I'm with you, Goots. I'm not sold. I am not sold. But you know what? I do have the Bills in there. I'm with you on that, and I do think they go to the bowl, and I think they win it. But I'd be a crazy person not to put the Chiefs up there, too, with Patrick Mahomes, the best player to ever play the game. So I'm taking him. I'm taking the Bills, who I'm high on this season when everybody's off them. And they're going to be in the AFC Championship game, and that will be pretty much the Super Bowl, in my opinion, because these are two of the best teams of football.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Chat, we move, we groove. Let's go to the next page. We got a couple more futures to go over before we dive into Thursday Night Football. We've got some dark horses and some busts, folks. I'm stoked about this. The AFC is stacked, so definitely some options for dark horse. And would you look at that, Javon? We picked two teams in the same division. You want to get us kicked off?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows how I feel about the Browns at this point. Deshaun Watson is going to have an amazing year. You're going to have that defense that's going to be very improved, the front seven that has all the talent in the world too. Yes, they're playing in a really good division, but yes, they're also very talented, and they're going to sneak up on a lot of teams. So I like their win total over. That was close to making the favorite one up there with the Titans. I like their over 9.5. I think they win 10 games, and I think they're right up there with everybody loves the Ravens. Everybody loves the Bengals, myself included. The Browns are going to be right there. It's going to be 1A, 1B, 1C with all those teams, and I think they're going to be really good.
Okay. I agree. I do think the Browns will be good. I do think they'll make the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, I also think the Steelers will be good. And I think they're going to make the playoffs. Javon, out of the 4 teams in this division, the Steelers had by far the easiest schedule. They had the 7th easiest strength of schedule. Just looking at win totals, win futures for teams they're playing and their opponents, it's not even close. Everyone else has a tough schedule, and they're in the bottom half for strength of schedule in that division. So the Steelers get off a little bit easier this season. I like that edge. The teams are playing out of conference are a little bit worse. So I'm kind of stoked to be back in the Steelers. And Kenny Pickett, who just got named captain this season without Najee. Just Kenny Pickett, which is super weird. You don't see a lot of times because last season it was both those guys, Najee and Kenny. You don't see a team kind of rip that away from one of the other guys and just keep, Kenny Pickett as a solo offensive captain, but they didn't, which tells me this kid is absolutely shining, not only on the field, but off the field. He's becoming the leader of this team. He's doing exactly what he did in college football for years and at Pitt, and that's be a quarterback and be a leader. That's what he is. And I'm extremely impressed from what I've heard, everything about Kenny Pickett, and I'm impressed with how he played last season, especially towards the end of the year. I think he's ready. I'm in on the Steelers. They have a great defense. They got TJ Watt. They have a great coach in Mike Tomlin, and they got Kenny Pickett, who's going to be lighting it up this season. He's got some weapons at receiver, and the Steelers will find a way to go 9-8 this season and make the playoffs. It'll probably be a wild card. Maybe it'll be your Browns at first and the Steelers in second, and then the Ravens and the Bengals to follow with what nobody expects at all. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, but all I know is every team in this division is freaking stacked, and I'm high on the Steelers, who have a little bit easier schedule than the rest of the crew. They are my dark horse.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Right. Obviously, I love Pickett, so I'm with you. Bust, I went to Jaguars, and it's not me saying that they're going to go out there and win 5 games necessarily, but I don't think they win the division. I think especially early on in the season, you're going to see some things that are very similar to what we saw last season. People forget. I don't want to say it's just a flash in the pan team because they are very talented, but we only saw the version of the Jaguars that a lot of people are expecting for this latter half of the season last year. So they have a very, I don't want to say very tough, but they have a couple really tough scheduling spots. I mean, week 2, they got the Chiefs, which is tough, but then they have back-to-back games in week 4 and week 5 in London against 2 teams that I think are going to be pretty good, the Falcons and the Bills. That's a tough scheduling spot. They have a lot of tough games on the road. They go to New Orleans on a short week on Thursday Night Football, follow that up with a trip to Pittsburgh. So, early on in the season, I think they're going to struggle, and I think the Titans are going to take control of that division. I think anybody who's taking the square Jags to win the AFC North or AFC South at -150 seems too good to be true because it is. The Titans are taking that division, and the Jags are going to disappoint a lot of people, maybe until the end of the season where they start to pick it up against an easier schedule.
I'm in. Fade the Jags, the most public team to win their division, chat. That never works out in any sport. Javon, remind the people what the most popular divisional winner was in MLB this season.
It was the Cardinals. That worked. And then last year, it was in the same division. It was the Colts, which also worked.
Oh,
so, I mean,
okay.
It also helps, a big thing too. And yes, this guy's 100% right. Got to be good in the trenches. Jacksonville is not. People forget that. Front sevens, any good ones will destroy them. Their offensive line isn't good either. But guess where the last game of the season is for the Jags and the Titans? It would be in Nashville, in a game that I very well think it could decide the division if it comes down to it. And they got to go to Nashville. Titans have a little home field advantage there in what could be a massive game. So, I mean, that plays a big part into it. I think that's going to be a huge game, just like we saw at the end of last season. So I'm all in on the Jags disappointing.
Yep. Who was the biggest favorite last year? I am the Lickers. The Bills were the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl in the last 30 years. Odds makers last year were losing their minds, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Okay? Guys, you can't be taking the trendiest plays. If you haven't learned that by now, you got to listen up. You can't. They don't hit. We just gave you the samples. They never hit. And they're not going to hit this season with the Jags. Like I said earlier, coaching might be the most important thing when capping football. Straight up. It's so important. And Mike Vrabel, I mean, he is a wizard. And he will figure out a way to win this division, Javon. I'm so with you. Fade the Jags at all costs this season. They stink in the trenches. Everyone's on the most public play to win the division. We fade. It's that simple.
Yep. Got to.
It really is. All right. And I've already talked about the Jets enough. I mean, their O-line is atrocious. You're going to see why I'm fading them on Monday Night Football when the Bills literally take their Jets offensive line's lunch money during that game. It's going to be ugly. The Bills defense is going to shine. You're going to see why I'm low on the Jets on Monday night. So I'll let that speak for itself. Okay. Javon, give me your AFC East long shot. What do you got?
Yeah, so it wasn't as big a long shot as yours sitting over there, but taking Tyreek Hill, offensive player of the year. Nobody really wants to touch the Dolphins anything this season, and I understand why. I have hesitance as well, but if Tua stays healthy in this offense, Tyreek Hill is going to be right up there with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and whoever else. And the amount of usage you're going to get from this guy, I know you have Waddle as well, but in that offense, he's going to put up ridiculous numbers if he gets a full season of Tua, and hopefully he stays healthy. So I will take a shot when nobody really wants to back the Dolphins in any form or fashion because they know they have the Tua injury stuff lurking. Tyreek Hill, just got to hope and pray that Tua stays healthy for a season. And honestly, you can put up ridiculous numbers without him too, but that helps.
This is crazy.
Yeah, people do forget that. People forget. I mean, Look, you're so right. If Tua somehow can stay healthy the whole season, yeah, Tyreek will be up there for this. The only problem is he won't. But hey. Good. I mean, even
it's a future bet.
Half a
plus
season.
380.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I took a little bit more of a value play with mine, chat. You guys know I'm very high on the Bills this season. I've got Josh Allen to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think him with his healthy elbow, him getting Diggs back, him having Gabe Davis, him having a decent O-line, him having, James Cook back there. Guys, this is the year Josh Allen finally breaks out and proves the people wrong who are hopping off of them for getting burned last season when they were the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl in the last 30 years. This is the year the Bills do it, okay? Josh Allen is going to be leading the charge. We know he's one of the NFL's favorites, right? He's one of their, young stud QBs who they love to promote and they want to see him succeed. And the only thing right now that could overtake Patrick Mahomes being the GOAT as the top NFL storyline would be this guy, Josh Allen, coming back when everybody doesn't expect it and they're hopping off them this season to go out there and absolutely ball. Josh Allen is the only other guy who can be better, and he's going to show that this season, and that would be a great storyline for the NFL if Josh Allen can somehow find a way to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. But for now, we're rolling with him on a value play plus 3,500 to win Offensive Player of the Year this season. I'm all in on the Bills Mafia, and Josh Allen is going to be a beast this season.
There we go. I guess you can go to the AFC West. AFC West, I really didn't like many long shots. I guess you kind of didn't too, judging by what you have down there as a pretty tough market for the AFC West. But I saw Chiefs 2 touchdowns in every game for plus 500, which I looked and it was obviously a solid hit rate for them last season, to say the least. But I think that offense isn't going to miss a step, even if you have some injuries that last a little longer than some people think to start the season. But I think they'll be just fine. You'll see that tonight. So this is not one that I really love, but out of the market that we got for the AFC West, it's probably what I like the most.
Okay. I love it. Absolutely love it. QB isn't an Offensive Player of the Year award, Larry Beeman says, who thinks he knows more ball than me. Goots, do me a favor. Can you pull up the previous winners of this award? If you see, it kind of skips. It goes between quarterback and then a couple position players, QB, a couple position players. But there's QB snuck in there every other year or every 2 or 3 years. And we can scroll up a little bit higher as well, Goots. You can see the QBs are mixed in there, man. They're mixed in there. Get there, Henry, out of there. The QBs are mixed in there every so often, every couple years. And guess who won the last 2 years, Goots and chat? Guess who won it? We'll go back to the bottom here. 2 receivers just won this award, I believe. Yep, Cooper Kupp and JJ. And then you saw Derrick Henry and Michael Thomas, Slantman, who, by the way, is back this season, have won it the last couple. QB is due to win this award. If you look at the history, quarterbacks do win this award. You're just looking at recency bias, my man, and I'm just better and I know ball more. Plain and simple. QBs do win this award, and Josh Allen's going to win it this year at plus 3,500. All right?
There we go.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let's keep moving and grooving here, folks. AFC West long shot for me. I've got the correct order of this division, and yeah, it's actually the most or the shortest odds for the AFC for an exacta of picking, the standings for all 4 teams. It's the shortest odds for the favorite to do this. And that's why I want to target it so much. And it's still plus 300. It still has value. But I don't see a world where this division, Javon, doesn't really go chalk. I think it will go chalk. This is where I'm willing to lay the chalk and square up for Kitch and back this correct order exactly what we all kind of expect. But I see it playing out the same way. I got the Chiefs winning that division. They'll figure out a way to do it. They have the best player in the world. I got the Raiders coming in last. Okay, they're atrocious. Javon, you hit the nail on the head talking about fading them this season. They're going to stink. And then I'm going Chargers and Denver in the middle there. I'm not that big on Russ this season or the Broncos. I've not been hearing great things out of camp there. And the entire team trusting Russell Wilson is more focused on his own PR shit than playing football. I'm not liking that too much. I think he's got his head in the freaking gutter. But I will back Justin Herbert in a new offense, air raid with Kellen Moore coming in. I think they'll do enough to come in second in this division. Give me the Chiefs to finish first. We got the Chargers at 2. Broncos at 3, and the Raiders at 4. I'm squaring up for Kitch here, folks. Plus 300 for the AFC East standings for my long shot.
There we go. Yeah, I didn't like the AFC West market all that much, but I would agree that that division is going to go pretty square. For the North, I went with more Brown slurpage. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. I think you're going to see an insane run from him, especially early in the season, because I did go through the schedule. You have a couple in-division games that are pretty tough on paper, but he's also going to be lined up against a lot of project linemen, if you want to call them that. I mean, the Steelers have one that's going to line up in left tackle, which I saw a funny tweet that he's going to see, Nick Bosa, depending on how much he plays, Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett first 2 weeks after they've kind of revamped his career. Good luck. There's a lot of guys down the schedule for that for the Browns that Myles Garrett is going to go against, and obviously he doesn't really need that with how talented he is. So, I think you're going to see a absolutely ridiculous year from him to lead that defense, and it's going to be something unlike we've ever seen. So I think he's going to go on a ridiculous run. Give me plus 800 there.
The Browns do have a defense,
and this is huge too, absolutely huge. He's going to be free to roam against those guys as well, which is massive.
Okay, nobody's talking about that. Love it. Free up Myles Garrett. He's going to put himself back on the map this season when people are forgetting about that defense and him. I'm in. Myles Garrett's a stud. All right. Chad, I've got a really cheeky future for the AFC North long shots. And unfortunately, I couldn't find this prop just for the AFC North, which would probably be plus a bazillion. So I had to take it for any division in football, but I'm utilizing it here for the AFC North because I think it's the most plausible outcome here for this future. Guys, look at that division. Look at the AFC North, okay? And I know the AFC is no joke. They're no NFC. But if you take a look at this division, I see a way for all 4 of these teams to make the playoffs. The Ravens with their new, pass offense, which is going to completely open up the field for them offensively and not rely on running the ball with Lamar. That offense is going to absolutely level up this season, and we know their defense is going to be good. The Bengals are going to be the Bengals. They find ways to win. Joe Burrow's a beast. The Browns, who Javon is very high on this season, Deshaun Watson is going to carry this team to the playoffs. And the Steelers, my dark horse, it's Kenny Pickett's season. Mike Tomlin, it's always his season. Every year, he's one of the greatest, most underrated coaches in football. They're going to find a way to sneak into the playoffs like they always do. So I love all four of these teams, chat. And this is an AFC North long shot. Okay, this is not, a 5-unit max play that you're taking. This is a long shot. It's at plus 1,100 for a reason. You shouldn't be nuking it, but I could see all four of these teams go into the playoffs from the AFC. I mean, if you look at the AFC East, I think it'll be the Bills. I wouldn't be surprised if, Tua gets hurt for the Dolphins and then they're out. The Patriots aren't there yet. I think the Jets might find a way to miss the playoffs, which might be the craziest take there. But you know what? Their O-line is going to be poo, and you're going to see it on Monday, why they're not going to make the playoffs, plain and simple. Then you look at the AFC West, Javon. It's only going to be the Chiefs. No one else from that division is making shit, in my opinion. Then you get the AFC South. I mean, that's going to be the Titans, and that's it. No one else is going for that division. So there is a path, from what I'm looking at here, for the AFC North to absolutely dominate this year and send all four teams to the playoffs, and I'm willing to sprinkle on it for my long shot. I am.
Just in case you didn't know, plus 1,100 is highly unlikely. Just in case you didn't know that.
A plus 1,100 bet is highly unlikely for a long shot segment we're doing. That's
just in
crazy.
Case you don't know.
Huh, that's weird. All right, let's keep moving and grooving. Javon, what do you have for your AFC South long shot?
Titans win the division. Call it wraps. We've talked about it enough. They're winning it.
100%. And just to add on to that, guys, Mike Vrabel said he would chop his own dick off to win the Super Bowl. If that's not the coach of the year already, I don't know what is. And this guy finds ways to make his team perform immensely better than the roster he has on paper. He's done it for years with guys like Ryan Tannehill. Give me a break. Mike Vrabel is an offensive football genius. I wouldn't say offensive. He's a football genius. And he's going to take this Titans team to the promised land when everyone's on the Jags, right? We've already talked about that. Well, when Mike Vrabel gets that shit Titans team into the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there for Coach of the Year, and him being plus 3,500 is way too much value for me not to sprinkle. Give me Mike Vrabel, who would chop his own Johnson off to win a Super Bowl, to be the Coach of the Year. I mean, the effort level's right there. The heart's there. Okay?
Always
now
is.
You just have to play the games.
Always is.
Unbelievable. All right, let's talk meat on table futures, Javon, and we'll wrap this up. What is your favorite future? Obviously, it's the Titans, but let the people know, flesh it out for a little bit.
Yeah, the Titans are winning 8 games. They're winning that division. Mike Vrabel is going to – I don't know if he's going to win Coach of the Year because I think that might be over in the NFC with a couple of guys up there, but he's going to do a masterclass, and he's going to lead them to a division win when there's a lot of question marks, frankly, around the rest of that division. So they're going to be amazing this season, and they're winning 8 games. Honorable mention, the Browns are also winning 10 games.
Ooh, okay. A little sneak meat on tape future for the people. Love it, Javon.
Sneak.
Love it. I've got Bills to win their division. Like I just talked about, the Bills are going to dominate, absolutely dominate their division this season, Javon. Not worried about the Jets. Everyone's too high on them. Everyone's watching Hard Knocks and absolutely slurping A-Raj. Well, to be honest with you, Tom Brady in his prime couldn't succeed behind that O-line this season. I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career try. The Patriots are going to be close. They're going to make games weird, but they're not going to push. They're not going to be better than they were last year, in my opinion, and I don't think they're going to be a playoff team just yet. And the Dolphins, I mean, Tua's going to get hurt, and they're not going to make the playoffs. So I've got the Bills winning this division at plus money, which in my opinion is good enough for me to back in a team to win the division in the future. It's the Bills Mafia this season, folks. Healthy Josh Allen, not that tough of a schedule. When everyone's hopping off, we jump right back on the Bills Mafia bandwagon here. They win the freaking AFC East. They get it done. All right? W's. We move. Javon, you want to do some MLB talk here real quick before we talk Thursday Night Football for the last 30?
I think we should.
Okay. Chad, we've only got about 5 or 6 MLB games today. I think we got 6. We'll power through these. I know you guys want winners for today, and then we're going to go over Thursday Night Football. We have a ton to talk about. I got a whole note sheet here of plays that I like that we need to cover. So Let's go ahead and get it started with MLB. Javon, Dodgers and Miami. I like the under in this game after the first 2 games of the series went over. What are your thoughts on this game?
Kind of like the Dodgers. Don't love it, but Pepio's been better than I think a lot of people have given him credit for. He's come back into the rotation. He's been really solid. Definitely limited a lot of hard contact, which was his problem in the first couple stints up with the Dodgers. So, I think he can pitch someone well today. Braxton Garrett still have done this since the beginning of the season. Whenever he faces a team that gives up or hits a lot of hard contact, especially when they're in their better platoon split against lefties, doesn't usually go very well. The strikeouts are there. They probably will be today with the Dodgers, but I think there's going to be a couple bangs that make the difference for them. So I do lean Dodgers. I don't love it more than some of the other plays in the slate, but that's where my head's at.
Lean Dodgers. I like the under. Any prize pick squares you like in this game, Javon?
Nah, none really in that game.
Okay. You want to talk about Seattle and Tampa? Can I get the Rays report from you?
Yeah, we can talk about this a little bit. I think Castillo definitely pitches well in this game. I lean the Mariners here. I also don't mind that over, which is getting juiced a little bit. I know it went up from 7.5. It's moving up to 8, even up at 115 now, which is interesting. But I think Luis Castillo pitches well. Zach Littell, I'm a fan of kind of long term, but when he faces teams, same thing as like Braxton Garrett, but on the opposite side, teams that are really good against allowing hard contact against right-hand pitching, he struggles. And the Mariners have been one of the best teams at that, whether they're in Great American Ballpark for the last week or not. I think this is going to be a really tough matchup for them, to be honest with you. I hate that they're coming out of Great American Ballpark because that has nearly the same Coors effects type thing, but not as significant. But I do think they put up runs. They usually, somebody said it in chat too, they do give Castillo run support weirdly, and now they have a really good matchup to do it. So I kind of think they win. And I do think that we get some runs in this game, even if a majority of them are off of Littell, unfortunately.
Okay. Do you want to square up and take that Littell more than earned run square today?
Yeah, that would be the way that I would do it.
That's the way you'd be back in this game on the prize picks board?
Yeah, I have no problem squaring up there.
Littell more than 2.5 earned runs allowed, him and his red beard. That shit's red as hell, bro. Jesus. He might be like actually a leprechaun. Holy smokes. All right. More than 2.5 earned runs. I get behind that. Any Seattle squares you want to take, Javon?
I mean, unless you want to take J-Rod.
What about Calzone?
Yeah, I don't mind Calzone. I guess you would kind of want a righty, or I would against Littell personally, and that's the only lefty, him and Mike Ford, that are up there. So, I mean, I don't really care for many of the squares up today, but I would just rather umbrella fade Littell.
Okay. All right. I'm with it. Chad, I'm assuming I missed the NFL picks. What are they like for tonight? No, you didn't. We saved the best for last, my man. Don't you worry. We're going to go over the Thursday night football game here in a moment. Okay. Let's keep moving and grooving. Javon, we got Tigers. We got Yanks. You're talking about the Yanks are back. Are you backing them today?
In a way. I think Eduardo Rodriguez gets absolutely destroyed today. My favorite play on the board and favorite prize picks correlated thing is taking the over in this game, as well as directly fading Erod with his under fantasy score. We all know what the Yanks have done against lefties, for the past month at this point. And that's been when they're a significantly worse lineup than they are or have been for the last week or so. Now that they've gotten a little juice and they're playing better. But I love this matchup. And Erod has been kind of regressing over the past month or so, really since the All-Star break. He's been giving up a lot more hard contact. The command's not there. So we saw him show flashes of being an ace when he was healthy for the Tigers earlier in the season. And it's not looking like that's kind of the same conversation we're having right now. So he's had good performances. You look at the bars there, it's very all or nothing with him. He faced good teams against lefties, and look what happened. He got shelled by the Astros. He got shelled by the Red Sox right there. And the other 3 teams on that list are bottom 10 against lefties for the last month or so, even 2 months if you want to umbrella it back to August. So again, I think the Yankees absolutely destroy him today, and you can go a variety of ways with that. And then on the other side too, I don't think Rodon pitches all that well either. He's had a control issue, and he gives up plenty of hard contact himself. The Tigers have been pretty patient, especially the top of the lineup. So I think we get runs. Plus, these bullpens have been destroyed over the past 2 weeks or 2 games. So when you get into the back end of the bullpen, like the Yankees, it scares me a lot taking full game overs because their bullpen's been so good. But a lot of the top arms are either gassed or not going to be available. And the Tigers' bullpen isn't bad either, but it's kind of the same story with them. So I think both these pitchers get destroyed, and then we get into the bullpens, and it's more the same.
3 things. Number 1, can we fade Judge? Number 2, do you want to fade Rodon on the fantasy score? Number 3, are you back in Dominguez today?
Dude, I just gave a dissertation about runs in this game, especially from the Yankees. And the first question is, can we fade Judge?
Yes.
No.
Okay, on to the next 2. What do you got?
No. Cannot fade
Rodon or
Judge.
Dominguez?
I mean, if we're taking a Yankee square, I'd rather take Dominguez. I hate that it's the only one up, him and Judge. But, yeah, my favorite way to play any Yanks bats would be just directly fading Eduardo Rodriguez.
Okay. The less than 29.5 fantasy score.
Yes.
Sure. We move. The Yankees are undefeated since calling up Dominguez. I'm good on that square, and I'm not going to be back in Judge either. Let's move on to St. Louis and Atlanta. This game hurt some people's brains and hurt some people's wallets last night, Javon. And you want to go back to the team total that did cash for us last night? I'm in.
It did. I can't sit up here and lie and say I thought the Cardinals were going to have much of a pulse in that game. But the one thing I did say was I don't see a world where Dakota Hudson pitches well against this lineup, and he gave up 5. So I would say I was pretty successful in that, and then the team total hit. I don't think there's a world where Adam Wainwright pitches well tonight. And I don't care if they gave me, the line 6.5. It's a run higher than yesterday. I don't care if they gave me 7.5. I don't care if they gave me 8.5. I don't care if they gave me 9.5. I think Adam Wainwright gives up 7 runs himself today. And then we get into
you play the over 9.5.
I am considering alting in some form or fashion. But yeah, he's going to get absolutely destroyed. Again, like another one of these guys that's pitching today that gives up a ridiculous amount of hard contact, other than the fact that overall he's just not a good pitcher anymore. He's basically senile at this point. He's facing a Braves lineup who has been destroying every single pitcher they face, including last night, despite what Spencer Strider and the rest of the bullpen did on the mound. They did their job. They put up 6 runs, got the team total. Like today, Adam Wainwright is going to get destroyed. This Braves lineup is literally like a lot of the guys like Wainwright. It might be the retirement game if he wasn't going for 200 wins, but like a lot of the Cardinals pitchers are very similar. Like if you look at what they throw, Michaelis, Wainwright, Dakota Hudson, they're all very similar. Just the one thing that Wainwright throws into the bunch is a curveball. It's patented curveball he's thrown for years, which the Braves crush. So, I mean, it's not an addition that scares me, other than the fact that the obvious umbrella thing here is Wainwright sucks at what he gets paid to do at this point. It's like the Braves are going to put up 15 runs today. It's going to get ugly. And after what happened yesterday, as far as the game level bets go, I would not be surprised if Max Fried just shoves and this game is never even remotely close.
Yep, I'm with it. I actually like the Cardinals team total under, but I'm down to get on board with the Atlanta team total over as well. I do think Max Fried shoves. I think the Braves come out angry today after losing the first 2 games of the series, and they try to spank the Cards and lay it on them. And who better to be on the mound for the Braves than Max Fried? Absolute beast. Absolute beast. I think he shuts down the Cards offense, who's been hot recently, and I think the Braves bats stay hot. And yeah, anybody bitching in chat did not take the squad route yesterday for some reason, and he took the Braves -1.5 like a bozo. So I don't feel bad at all. Take the squad ride. It was a team total over yesterday. It hits, and go about your day. That's it. Arizona and Chicago, Javon. Or do you have any squares you like in the Braves cards?
Spray them. I really don't have a preference, to be honest with you. I like a lot of their matchups. And, I mean, one of the guys I took, Acuna, yesterday, didn't really do anything until the end of the game. Wouldn't be mad at going back to him. We have Olsen up, who I don't love, coming off of a, 3-hit game, which shout out to him. I believe, what do we need, 3 for his season-long cash?
3 more hits from our guy Olsen, who balled last night, Javon. So he's doing his job. 3 more hits from Olsen, and we got a Cal Quantrill start tonight, so that'll cash the entry for him, at least for his squad.
Beautiful.
Okay.
But yeah, they don't have much up other than a couple Matt Olson squares and Acuna fantasy score. So I think there's a pretty clear reason for that.
I mean, Acuna's been cold as ice the last 3 games, and they bumped him up from 10 to 10.5 today against a Hall of Fame pitcher. I'm freaking back. Give me Acuna fantasy score today. Let's square up for pitch and let's back him.
Let's do it.
All right. W's. Would you do 6.5 or 7.5 team total for the Braves? Is it juiced to 6.5?
No, it's like even. So I mean, I would take that.
Okay.
But like I'm
Yeah.
going to be. I don't know if I'm going to like full ladder and place bets on every single line, but I'm going to place a 9.5 if I can get it. I haven't looked at the odds,
Little
but
alt line sprint.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to do a full ladder, but I'm going to take an alt line for sure.
Sure. Let's keep moving and grooving. We got 2 more games, Arizona and Chicago. How about the Cubs, Javon? Don't let them get hot. It might be too late. And they got their stud Assad on the bump, who's been balling for no reason. Are they going to get another win today against the D-backs?
I hope so. Because, like I said, at this point, I'm rooting for the Cubs. Because as far as the Reds' little path to the wild card, the Cubs are pretty cemented. And honestly, they might win the division. But in between them, D-backs, Giants, who the Cubs just swept beautifully. And then Marlins are in there now. So I am rooting for the Cubs pretty heavy. And I think this game is going to be a little low-scoring slugfest, at least early on. I don't want to deal with these bullpens, especially the D-backs. Their bullpen is horrendous. But really for a majority of both their series, I know the D-backs had the Rockies in a really high-scoring game yesterday. The Cubs, that series with the Giants, wind was in place. They got a lot of runs there. Early on, you said like Assad has been really good over since he's been called back up for his last couple starts. And I think that continues against the D-backs offense. It's really aggressive early, and I think that's going to be to their demise. And then Ryan Nelson, it always hurts to somewhat back that guy. I think you're going to see a solo shot or two off him early, but otherwise, I think he matches up pretty well against the Cubs. So I think a reason why we're seeing 8.5 and starting to get juiced a little lower towards the under after all the runs we saw from both these teams over the past week, is because you're going to see these pitchers actually pitch pretty well. So I like the first 5 under 4.5 in this game. Again, no bullpens for me with both these teams.
I will say we need to take a look at this real quick, folks. Assad's pitching outs, and I will say there's been like cheeky squares up. They make me want to fade Assad recently, and I'll be honest with you, I've been taking them and they just don't hit. The guy just keeps balling. But they have that weird pitching out square, Javon, that is green as a gob. We'll look at the recent history there on the right sector. Javier Assad. Whoa, what the heck? What's going on with this? I don't get it.
I don't know like how much, because like he's a converted reliever to a degree. Like they've never really thought about stretching him out until the last couple games. It's like I don't know if they can put the line any higher necessarily. Like I also don't think he's gonna get. I don't know. I really don't think he's gonna go 6 or 7 innings here. It's like I like the under for baseball reasons, but I don't know if the line is crazy.
Okay. All right. Maybe TJ Mixer in chat is right. Maybe we stop fading Assad. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like it.
Okay. Don't fade 86 coming and giving out a sub bang to the people. That's what I'm talking about. Don't fade 86. That's called being a team player. No me guys over here. Don't fade 86, giving out a sub bang for the people. Absolutely love it. Vibes are up. Let's go to the last game of the night. Unless you have any other squares you like in D-backs Cubs.
Nope.
Cool. Guardians Angels. Cal Quantrill. He's back. Lines pulled back from -120 to -110 towards the Angels, who have lost a bazillion games in a row and stink. Is it the Angels today, Javon?
I think it's the Angels, but I think I like the over more in this game. I think this is going to be a game that we see Cal Quantrill finally just get absolutely destroyed. And we've seen that a couple times, but since he's come back, it really hasn't been all that much for him. But this line seems a little low for an Angels team that's been pretty pitiful, call it. And I was shocked to see them going back down to a pick'em in this game, really without a definite starter. I know I've seen some stuff floating around for who's going to come out for them, but Cal Quantrill coming back, this might get ugly for both these pitchers. Seen it creeping up. It's almost up to 9 now.
Yeah. Runs. We know Cal Quantrill has magical powers at home, but on the road, we can fade. Amen.
Yeah.
Any squares you want to take in this game, Javon? Let's take one peep before we talk about this college football game and then go into the NFL Thursday Night Football opener. I'm so fucking hyped. Any Guardian squares, Javon?
We don't have anything up, really, except for
Cal Quantrill hits allowed up.
Yeah, that might be air. I don't know what his leash looks like, though, which is kind of the question. He did just throw a gem against the Rays, though. So, I mean, coming back, that might be it.
Yeah. I'm good on J-Ram, too. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good on J-Ram. I don't mind the Cal over hits, though.
We do have night sweats tonight, folks. We'll be sweating out this first game, 100%. Okay? Maybe it's that Cal square, Javon. I mean, there's no squares up for the Angels, so.
Yeah. I mean, gem against the Rays, coming back into the Angels as a pick 'em. So
Sure.
I can tell you all you need to know.
He's about to get rocked. Okay, chat. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. Javon, we do have a college football game on today. I don't have any plays I like in it. It's Murray State versus Louisville, a little Thursday night football action. Spread moved from 40 to 43.5. My goodness, Louisville barely pulled out a win in their first game of the season when they were losing pretty much the whole game. Murray State spanked their opponent week 1. They did their job. They beat Presbyterian 41-10. I mean, Javon, you and me probably could do the same thing against Presbyterian, but are you laying the points with Louisville here? The total's also up from 53.5 to 56.5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get involved in this game, especially with NFL on, but this feels very similar to me to the UCF Kent State game, where we're just going to see an absolute destruction, and Murray State's not going to score all that much. So, wouldn't be surprised if we get something that hangs around the total, maybe just sneaks over, and Louisville just dominates. You get like a 55-7, something like that. I wouldn't mind the over, but yeah, I wouldn't mind laying it with Louisville either.
Maybe a little Murray State team total under action like we did with Kent State?
Could be. I don't know if I feel as good about UCF's or as good at Louisville's defense as I did UCF's defense to make me feel confident that their defense looks bad. They can't guard Park Gar against Georgia Tech. That was horrendous.
All right. Maybe we stay off this one, but we wanted to touch on it. Chat, let me know if you guys have a play in this game. If you have a play in Murray State Louisville tonight, first of all, you're a sick guy. Second off, I respect it. Third off, drop it in chat. I want to know your play. Okay. Let's talk about some Thursday night football, folks. It's about that time. We're here. Lions, Chiefs, opening night, Thursday night football. Let me give you guys a little rundown of what's going on. Okay, and then we're going to go over some plays we like. Travis Kelce's probably going to be out. I'd be surprised if he plays. If he does, he's not going to be good. But I really don't think he's going to play. Then you got Chris Jones, who's also holding out because he wants a raise. He's not going to be here tonight. That is a huge loss for the Chiefs defense. We're seeing the spread move from 6.5 to 4.5. Some places 5, Javon, but either way, the spread's pulled back. And I will say, let's gas up the Lions here for a second. They are the favorite to win the NFC North for the first time since 1993. That is wild. They're the favorite? That's crazy. First of all, we're fading that. Second off, got to give props to the Lions team. It's come a long way since going over a couple of years ago when I started following NFL. This team has come a long way, and I respect Dan Campbell. And I don't think Jared Goff is that bad. And I don't care what the Chiefs CEO is saying, by the way. I don't know why people care about that. He's not playing. He's not playing. Okay. Here's the deal, though, folks. The Lions are finally getting some respect this season. They're kind of America's public darling here. Last year, they got hot a little bit and impressed some people, and they became a pretty public team. Okay. I want to fade that. But the problem is the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're the public team every year. They have Patrick Mahomes. So this is a tough spot for me to kind of figure out what I want to play. I do have a play in this game, and it is the under. Javon, let me give you some stats about this under. Primetime unders last year hit 61% of the time. So if you blindly bet every primetime under last season, you're rich. 61% win rates, including last year's season opener, Javon, between the Rams and the Bills. It ended 31-10. That under was 52. It was higher than all the rest of the totals that year, just like this year, and it soared under. Wasn't even close. 11 points. Okay. Week 1 primetime under since 2019 have hit 61% of the time when the total moves down, and the total has moved down from the original opener. So that's a great sign. And here's some contrarian bits for you guys, some contrarian Phil's nuts. This is why I want to take the under, because there's a lot of trends, a lot of points. Looking at that over here, guys, the last 10 matchups between these two teams, Javon, guess how many unders have hit?
How many?
One under in the last 10. And since 2015, the Lions and Chiefs are 15-0-1 to the over in season openers. That's wild. But the total keeps ticking down with the public on the over. Okay. And I did my fantasy football draft with my buddies last night, Javon, and I asked them what they like in this game tonight because I'm trying to get the square report. And a lot of my buddies are saying, and bless their hearts, but first game of the season, they're betting the over. They don't care what's sharp or what's not. They want to see points. It's Chiefs, it's Lions. They're betting the over. Chat. 61% of unders hit in primetime games last season, including the season opener. You don't think the books know this? You don't think the books see all the freaking money coming in on the over? and moving that total down, that's pretty weird if I could say so myself, Javon. Give me the under tonight. I don't want to fade the Chiefs tonight, but I will fade their offense at least minimally against an underrated Lions defense that we'll talk about here in a moment. But I want to hear Javon's angle in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so I like the under too, and it's partially because I think the Chiefs' offense is going to take a step back efficiency-wise, especially in the run game. I was reading up about some of the numbers behind with and without Kelsey, which even if he does play, he's not going to play the same amount of snaps. He's not going to be at full strength. The biggest hit, obviously, you have massive, anybody with eyes can tell you that their pass game is not the same without Travis Kelsey, but it's actually the run game, which is like 50% less efficient without Travis Kelsey. So, especially if we're talking about the Chiefs against, I agree, kind of an underrated Lions defense that's going to make some improvements this year. They're one of the public teams that I'm not necessarily all on board for fading. But I think they're going to give more methodical drives instead of the explosive plays that they're used to, and the Lions defense is used to giving up. And yeah, that's funny. That was like one of the greatest games I've ever seen with my two eyes. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks around the Chiefs offense tonight. And while I do think they're going to figure it out, like it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they're going to scheme no matter what. Still a new offensive coordinator that has to do this in week 1 too. So I think there's going to be some growing pains a little bit. And the defense for the Lions is going to look a little better to start the game. And the Chiefs will kind of lock in. But I think it's going to be a lower scoring game relatively. So I like that under too.
Okay. Guys, let's talk about this. Jesus, I'm just going with the Tigers. Let's talk about this Lions defense for a second here, folks. Okay. I know this Detroit defense stunk in the beginning of the season last year. They did. Okay. They were on pace to break the record for most points allowed in a season halfway through the year last season, Javon. But you know what? They kind of turned it around a little bit towards the end of the year. They finished 5th in DVOA under Ben Johnson. They held offenses to just 20 points per game from weeks 9 to 18, which was the 11th best in the NFL in that time period. Don't let the Lions defense get hot, folks. It might be too late. They are no joke. They are not that team we saw in the first half of the season. They made the necessary adjustments. Ben Johnson, I believe in. I like him. And I like this Detroit defense. I really do. I think they're going to impress some people. And I'll tell you what, the Lions have an elite line. They didn't bring in David Montgomery for nothing. Okay, I know they drafted Gibbs, but they didn't bring in David Montgomery to just sit on the bench with Gibbs there as their draft pick this season too. They're utilizing both these guys. And we've heard a lot of rumors about how they're going to use Gibbs this season. And I believe it for now. I need to see it on the field first. But I really do think it's going to be the DeMont show. And I want to talk about his square as well, Javon. But I want to hear your book plays first. You're on that under?
Book play is the under.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk some squares?
Yeah, let's talk some squares.
So picking up where I left off there, Javon, Lions have an elite O-line. Okay, Chiefs don't have Chris Jones tonight. Could be the difference here. And DeMont, he's at 52.5 rush yards. He will be the main running back this season for Detroit, not Gibbs. Oh, my God. He is fully suited up.
I have something to confess.
Oh, God.
Let's hear it.
I need my revenge on the Atlanta Braves. I wailed them.
Trent. Oh. Did you take the -1.5 and -2.5?
And the team total. I literally knew yesterday was happening. I knew it. Was happening yesterday.
As soon as Culinary Cookie came on and put that damn Braves hat on when he came back, we knew it was kicked.
As soon as I got off stream, I texted Fruity, I promise you, bro, take the Cardinals. And he did. He fucking did.
And he's rich.
But today, man, I mean, Spencer is just not it. No,
he's
Fried.
not. But you know who is? Max Fried.
Yes.
Max Fried is it. And you know what? The Braves aren't getting swept by the lowly Cardinals. I'm with you, Trent. You shouldn't be nuking it, but I'm with you. We like the play.
I need my revenge.
Okay. I'm assuming you're on the Lions tonight.
Yes. Thoughts on that?
Dude, flip a coin. Like, I have no clue. The number's low now. not betting against the Chiefs when Andy Reid's off a bye week, but I'm also not fading the Lions and that offense, who has an edge with potentially no Kelsey and Chris Jones here. So I'm staying off the freaking spread, and I'm taking the under in this game. The no fun.
I'm on the under.
Okay.
Magic Conch POD.
Magic Conch POD. I can get behind that. Let's start hot. Let's start hot this season, Magic Conch. What do you say?
I'm closing the book for the rest of the evening. It's the Lions +5. It's the under. It's Braves by 1 or Braves by 2, Braves by 3, and Braves to score 7. That's the card. GG's.
I bet that's the
I'm
whole
actually
card.
not placing another fucking wager. I've been actually staying true to when I say that lately, and I haven't placed a parlay since 2 weeks ago.
No way.
That day
you sent me a 2-teamer 2 days ago. That you wailed.
I did place that 2-teamer.
If you wail it counts.
2-teamers aren't even lays, bro.
If you wail it, if you have 5 units, it counts.
That's fair. That's fair.
But Javon, what's your take on the sides?
I mean, I'm kind of in the same headspace. I don't really want to get involved. In the back of my mind, it's kind of telling me this is going to be right around the line. Like you see like a 28-24 type game. The Lions just sneak out. Maybe it's a little Mima on the back door late. But, yeah, I don't want to get heavily involved in the side here.
I'll tell you what, Trent. Gun to my head, I have to hit a side bet on this game or my brains explode. I'm taking Lions.
Yeah.
I would take the Lions in the spot. Like, fading the Super Bowl champ is a system play, a tale as old as time. You're in a good spot. It just sucks that it has to be the public-ass Lions. Everyone's freaking darling this season. That's what sucks.
I know.
I don't hate fading the Chiefs, though, and you got some cojones doing it, so I respect it.
Javon, are you on the over, the under, or anything? Under.
Yeah.
Let's go. Fuck yeah.
Under 53.5. Yeah. It's 52.5 some places now. That's okay. That ain't no problem. All right. And we're going to go over a couple prize pick squares here, Trent, before the squad ride. So listen up. We got a couple donkeys, or at least I do. I'm sure Javon does as well. Let's pick up where I left off here, Javon, real quick. We've got our guy, David Montgomery, who I think is going to be an issue tonight. They didn't just pick him up to keep him on the bench with Gibbs. And I know they drafted him too. But they're going to utilize both these guys, like I was saying before. And he has his 7th best yards per carry against the Chiefs in his career. He had 57 yards against them the last time he played them. Hit this number. I think he does it again behind one of the most underrated, best offensive lines in football. I hate to say it, but it's the Lions. And I really think they're going to try to keep Jared Goff's mistakes to a minimum. He has that crazy streak going on right now where he hasn't thrown an interception or turned the ball over in like 300 attempts or something crazy like that. That sketches me out. And I'll tell you why that's been happening. It's because they've been playing more conservative. You feed your guy Amon-Ra, you give him 10 catches a game, or you start feeding your freaking 2 running backs who are beasts. And I think it's going to be D-man on the ground, and it's going to be Gibbs in the air, kind of like Antonio Gibson and how the Commanders plan to use him like I've talked about. So I am all in on D-Mons. I just want a cosign from one of you fellas.
Trent?
I like it. Sorry. I didn't know you were talking to me. I like it. Don't have much of a take on it, honestly.
Well, Javon hates it, so now I need to hear why.
Why?
I don't hate it for any particular reason. There's the one like super square thing that I've heard all week that I cannot get behind for this game, and I don't want to die on that hill, and it is this man. I'm good. We had guys pitching his yards and touchdown a week and a half ago. We've heard it every day since, so I'm good. I don't hate it for any X's and O's reason, but I'm going to let you root for that one, or I'll root for that one.
Okay, what about – let's pivot then. If we're not taking this square, what about Jahmyr Gibbs less than 39.5 rushing yards? Oh, it's down to 37.5. It got bumped.
Wow.
Ooh. Now am I speaking your language, Javon?
Maybe a little bit. I don't want to fade him, though.
I want to fade his rush yards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I would back him in the receiving or rushing plus receiving rather than just fade his rush yards personally.
Okay.
That's the square one that I'm fine taking.
You like his receptions?
I like his receptions. I like his rushing and receiving. And, I mean, I didn't even look to see if he has a fantasy score, but, I mean, I think he scored a touchdown. I think it's going to be opportunities galore for him today. At 13.5, I don't mind that in the slightest bit. not really buying into the whole just yet until I see it, if he's going to take a ridiculous amount of snaps in the slot, because we really don't know exactly how he's going to be utilized yet. But the one thing you do know, this is a team who has a lot of question marks beyond Amon-Ra in this offense as far as pass catchers go. Jameson Williams obviously out for a couple weeks. I love Sam Laporta, but this is week 1 against the defending Super Bowl champions. So I'm going to back him out of principle, but I really don't love the matchup all that much. So, like, other than that, you're going to have to force feed Jahmyr Gibbs. So, like, I love everything about it today, especially like this Chiefs defense. Now that you don't have your main source of pressure, which I guess is for a lot of dump downs or would lead to a lot of dump downs, you have a lot of room for a defense or against a defense who's really struggled against running backs for the last handful of seasons in the pass game, especially. So, like, Jahmyr Gibbs is square one where I think we're all eating there.
Okay. I got one more square, and then I want to hear the rest of yours, Javon.
Okay.
Fading Patrick Mahomes. Less than 2.5 pass plus rush plus receiving touchdowns. Obviously goes with our under. If this doesn't hit, the under's not going to hit. Plain and simple. 99% of the money is on Mahomes to throw more than 2.5 passing touchdowns. And I know this is not the same square, right? He could rush one in and F something up, and he does do that from time to time. If he does, though, I'll charge it to the game. I'm willing to fade the square with 99% of the people on the books back in his more than 2.5 passing touchdowns. I want to fade this. I have the under in the game, and I think Pacheco is going to be an issue today. I'm a little bit worried with you saying no Kelsey means he's not going to be able to run, because I also like Pacheco more than 51.5 rush yards, which he's hit in 10 of his last 12 games, including the playoffs, and it's got bumped up twice from 49.5 to 51.5, and Detroit's rush defense kind of blows. So that's kind of their weak point of the defense. So I kind of liked Pacheco, but I'm scared a little bit now that you said without Kelsey, they can't run block for shit.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten significantly less efficient when he's not in the game, but they are going against, what were they, second or third worst rush defense in the league last year. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I do think it's going to be a little tougher sledding, which is why when we're talking about running backs, I like Jerick McKinnon a little more, going back on, I guess, in the passing department in both sides. If you can't be efficient in the run game or as efficient as you used to, what are you going to do? You're going to utilize Jerick McKinnon in the pass game, which regardless of how efficient they're going to be with Pacheco in the run game, like, I think he's going to get utilized anyway. So just kind of an added bonus there if we see the Lions D-line come out and be better than we've seen for the last year. But I think Jerick McKinnon is my guy there. I like him more. If we're taking one pass catching back, I love McKinnon a little more than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Is it more than 2.5 receptions? Is that what he's at?
I mean, I like his fantasy score with McKinnon. That's what I always take when I back him. But I don't know if we have that option today.
It's not up there.
Rushing receiving for me there.
47.5.
Yeah.
It sucks because I don't think he's going to run the ball. Can we just take his receiving?
I think he might. I think he might run the ball.
You think he might run the ball a little bit? Okay. All right. Larry Beeman coming in with a sub bang. McKinnon eyes. Sure, Larry. I like the play. Cam is money coming in with a sub bang. Attaboy. What's up, Cam? Hope you're doing well, my man. Chad, it's about that time to do the squad rides. Before we do, though, Javon, any other squares you like? Is this McKinnon one your meat on table one as of right now for tonight?
My favorite one is actually Josh Reynolds.
Wow.
Talked about them having kind of limited options relatively early in the season. No, obviously you have Amon-Ra who's going to play as DX tonight. You have a big question mark. I think they're going to continue to develop Laporta. They'll put in Brock Wright as well at times, especially when they're kind of on the goal line. So I think it's going to be a developing situation. Josh Reynolds is going to be the guy, especially a little bit in the slot there, and is more of a downfield threat, kind of opposing Amon-Ra that they're going to target a lot today. So he's the guy for me in this game. That is my favorite square. I think Jared Goff, honestly, give him 2 throws in the first half, and he might hit this.
Okay. Josh Reynolds, more than 26.5 receiving yards. Not Laporta against the Chiefs defense that straps up tight ends and was just a Super Bowl winner. Maybe not tonight for the rookie. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Not tonight.
I'm with you. Do I start him in fantasy, though? Do I start him? Or do I start the freaking new Bills trendy guy? Like, I'm just not in a good spot there at all.
Yeah, it's not a great spot. I mean, you have a much tougher matchup, I would say, against the Jets. So, like, I don't love the spot for either of them week 1, but if I had to pick one, sneak Laporta would definitely unbiased be my choice there.
Yep. It's either Kincaid or Laporta for me, chat. I think I'm going to go Laporta tonight and just pray that he comes down with the ball in the end zone. And speaking of touchdown scorers, we got to ask our touchdown scorer whisperer in the bottom left sector, Trent. Who's scoring that first damn touchdown tonight, buddy?
I obviously had to go with St. Whale, but I already saw it, and it was fucking Laporta.
Okay.
I would
Come on,
actually
Heard it here first.
luge.
Tell me you're tapping in on the dual whale swear.
Yeah, I mean, I have to, just out of principle. I have to.
Pull that up
Honestly,
real
like
quick.
as much as I hate it, I gotta tap in for the vibes.
Just like
Which one?
handshake, whale on whale action. It's the
Laporta and
Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra. Is that just for the vibes play? If it is, that's okay.
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
need to know.
Laporta.
I mean,
I mean, as much as I don't really care for Laporta in the end zone tonight, the fact that he's in 2 touchdown combinations is
weird.
pretty interesting, I would say.
Oh, you're taking that touchdown square.
Yeah, let's make
Yeah.
that full size. That John, it looks so beautiful.
I'm actually kind of happy it's a touchdown square. Yeah, pull that puppy up, Goots. Let's see that history. I know there's none, but we'll get that square up. I can get behind that. I thought it was like receiving yards or some shit, but how about one of these two gentlemen to come down with the ball in the end zone? I'm in.
There we
More
go.
than
It's definitely a vibe play, not a surgical, John.
Yeah,
I mean, Amon-Ra, he's gonna get fed tonight.
just for
He
the
does,
vibe,
dude.
man.
We're
it's
gonna
in the
find
end zone.
out. We're gonna find out if the goat whale's hitting or not tonight.
That picture kind of is disturbing. Their heads are like shrunken up.
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah,
glad they
awesome.
added the pictures to these squares, though. It looks so much better.
It does look so
yeah.
much better. I agree. W prize picks. All right. Let's move. Okay, we got to do the squad ride here, Javon. We got to get plays in. You good with the under?
Yeah, we'll go with the under.
Kansas City under 53.5.
Please vote for that, chat, so I don't have to throw another bet today.
Dude,
Braves team total over.
yes.
Add that to the card.
It's already on your card, you son of a gun. Dodgers, Miami under. Thoughts on that one?
If you like it, put it in.
I don't.
How moose shit are the daytime Dodgers, chat? It's crazy.
Again, game starts at normal time.
No,
At
it's
least
still
At least
daytime.
in Miami. I
anything-
guess, yeah, for them it's day.
If it's not 7:10 Pacific, I don't want it.
Are we going over in Cleveland Angels tonight, Javon?
Yeah, and definitely lastly
Yankees
throw
over?
the Yankees over. It's probably my favorite.
Okay. That sucks, but we'll put it in there. Detroit, New York, over 8.5. Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners for the BTL squad ride today. Hurry up. We got to get our votes in. We got 2 minutes. Detroit, Kansas City, under 53.5. We got Atlanta team total over. We got Los Angeles and Miami, under 8.5. Cleveland and LA, over 8.5. And we got Detroit and the Yanks, who might be back. 5 wins in a row. Over
Really?
8.5.
For a smaller MLB slate, I think we got some pretty good plays there to complement football tonight.
I'll be honest with you. I like this baseball slate more than I've liked a lot of other ones in the past, and there's only 6 games.
Yeah.
Of course, that happens when there's NFL on, huh? Crazy.
Yeah, of course. It's all right. We're still nuking. We're still
I
nuking.
can't
winners.
believe the squad ride hit yesterday.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I could believe it, Trent. If
The
only
damn-
somebody told you just to take that.
The damage control was so clutch.
It was. That definitely helped. But Trent, man, you can't be spraying 7 different bets on the same play. There's no way that works out well. You got to pick one.
There's no way it happens 2 days in a row.
Dude, anything can happen. It's
Dude.
sports. That's why we
Come
love
on,
it.
man.
That's why they play the games. If we knew the Braves were going to win today, they wouldn't play the game. Jack, get your votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Hurry up. Get your votes in. We need more votes in the squad ride for the Twitch poll. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Get your votes in. We got 1 minute, chat. Is it going to be the Braves team total over? Seems like Chad might be fucking with Trent a little bit with that one. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. I guess they don't want to take our under tonight. That's what I'm telling you, Javon. Nobody wants to take this under tonight.
It's still
It
Some of
might
my
be,
buddies
yeah.
were literally saying they're taking the over. They don't care if it's sharp or not. They just want to see points. I'm like, well, yeah, that's fine, but you're going to lose money doing it. You could just sit back and not bet the over and enjoy the points yourself. You don't have to bet a loser, you know?
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. Trent, 61% unders in primetime games last year, and last year's week 1 game soared under. We're going to see it again tonight.
Let's go. I'm in.
All right. Chad, hurry up. Get your votes in. We got 20 seconds. Trent, peace. We'll be seeing. Chat, stick around for the Surge stream and stick around for Night Sweats tonight. And if you guys haven't joined our Survivor pool, there's still time. Make sure you guys get in before the game tonight, although I do think it's open through Sunday until the game's on Sunday. Get your freaking Survivor pool entries in. It's free. You can win Super Bowl tickets. And like I said before, if you last longer than me, you get $100 in the BTL chat the next day. So I'd like to see you guys, all you freaking Colorado over 3.5 Deion Sanders slurpers, put your money where your mouth is and do the Survivor pool, because I guarantee you don't last longer than me. Guarantee. Plain and simple. Braves team total over tonight for the squad ride. Mini NFL sneak squad ride, though, is at under. I know you guys want to take an NFL play tonight. That's the one. And Javon will catch the people tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be seeing.
We will.